At the tender age of 3, Kenny Gilbert couldn't quite reach the top of his mother's kitchen top counter, but he was certainly interested in everything that was going on. Oh, can I just say, oh. By the time he was 11, he was preparing Thanksgiving dinner for his entire family, and he hasn't stopped cooking since.
Best known as a fan favorite on Bravo TV's hit cooking competition Top Chef, he's now the chef owner of Gilbert's Underground Kitchen, what he describes as a deep Southern American restaurant in Fernandina Beach, Florida. Chef Kenny, welcome to the dish.
Thanks for having me.
And I have to say, I have been, well, I'll come to the drink in a minute because I've been admiring it across the studio all morning. But tell us what you brought.
So we brought this cocktail is called the Beast. It's
the Beast?
It's one of our signature cocktails. Rombero, wine-based spirit. Passion fruit, a little bit of jalapeno, allspice simple syrup.
You know, Mr. Mason loves anything in a mason jar.
Yeah,
so
and we top it off a little bit of fresh ginger, a little ginger beer
in there.
And then we have our cornbread and biscuits, one of our signature items. Green tomato jalapeno jam. There's jalapenos and cheddar and Monterey Jack in the biscuits. Our cornbread actually has a little bit of hominy and cream corn. And that's served with our alga cane syrup butter and some pickles. That's one of our signature little starters. Then we go into our shrimp or oysters on a half shell. Has a little datil pepper and remoulade, some crushed saltine crackers, a little succotash salad. So you kind of call that the perfect Southern bite. And then on your plate, you have our shrimp and grits, stone ground yellow grits, which has a different assortment of cheeses, local shrimp, sun-dried tomatoes, and andouille sausage. And we have a black pepper queso with a combination of a little shrimp stock to kind of make that nice sauce. And then we have our Carolina Gold Rice porridge. It's kind of one of our vegetarian options. We use the Midlands of the Anson Mills Carolina Gold Rice. And it's just cooked down with water and salt and butter. And it's with some blistered peppers and Brussels sprouts.
How does a guy that grows up in Ohio learn to cook Southern food like this?
My mom is from the South, you know, so my mom's from St. Augustine, Florida, and I grew up with great Southern roots. So when we're walking to the bus stop in the winter, and other kids might have some oatmeal, I had like fried fish and grits and whatnot.
We read you almost burned down the kitchen as a kid.
I did, like 3 years old. I was running around the house. My mom was an interior designer and did a lot of fashion, and she was working on a fashion show. And she happened to have a roast in the oven, and I was upstairs, opened up the oven door, and took the towel off. Had enough common sense to take the towel off the outside of the door, but back then they had a lot of little frays on it, and it caught on the coils, and it started to smoke when I pulled the roast out. I ran down the stairs, and she was looking at me like, what did this boy do? And she came up and saw that I had pulled the roast out and what I had done. And then she says, from that point on, she was going to teach me my way around the kitchen and the importance of it. So,
because you had your own grill by the time you were 7.
By the time I was 7 years old, working on a Weber grill, watching my dad in the backyard all the time, grilling up. You know, that's where I got my love for spices and rubs and barbecue sauces. So it kind of all came full circle when I decided to open up this Southern restaurant.
Well, I want to ask about when you decided to get on Top Chef Season 7, because that's how so many people know you. You were already very established when you did that show. Why did you do it, and has it really been beneficial for your career? You
know, I did it because Mike Vitaggio, who had won Season 6, we were kind of exchanging phone calls, and I was, trying to hook him up with his job through another mutual friend that was inquiring about him. And he says, oh, man, I just taped this show. He says, I have a producer that's going to give you a call. So I said, man, I'm not going on Top Chef. I said, I'm not doing that. No way.
Oh, really?
And he says, oh, you have to do it. He said, I think you'll kill it. And I talked to the producer, which was one of the initial interviews. And I went through the rigorous process. It took like 6 months to get on, and but it was great. I loved it.
And I mean, how important is it for a chef at this point to get that kind of recognition?
Well, I think that if you're already established, I think it's good for you to go on because you get that national recognition. It's immediate. As soon as you go on, you have millions of people watching you. And it's your opportunity to showcase your talent, your personality, and who you are. So I think if you already have created a great career, it's a great bump and a jump start for your career to help catapult you to to the next level, good or bad. I mean, it could happen. It could happen both ways.
That's the risk.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, as we hand you this dish and get your signature on it, we want to ask you if you could have this meal with any person, past or present. Who would that person be?
Anybody, past or present? Wow. Well, I would probably say my dad. My dad passed away in '96, and he came to the grill when I was working there. It was the Five Diamond restaurant I was running, and he had a chance to dine with me, which was awesome. But I would say him, because for him to see where I am right now,
that'd be
I know
great.
he's already watching over me, but I think for him to be able to sit down at this meal and to judge me on like the barbecue at the restaurant, which I know he'd be a tough critic, you know, because that's what every time I make some barbecue, I always think about him.
Well, we're certainly glad your mom let you back in the kitchen.
Yeah, thank you.
Chef Kenny Gilbert, thank you so much. And for more on Chef Kenny and the dish, please head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.